Greetings, friends, and it's the Grumpy Old Man, broadcasting live from WDWL TV, Studio B, located on Grumpy Vulture Boulevard, and we are a division of Grumpy Vulture Productions. Oh my God, it gets old and older and older. I have to tell you something. And today, when I ran up to the local little delicatessen up the corner of the street from me, it brought back something I witnessed a couple of weeks ago when I was grocery shopping. And, you know, when I got home, it made me stop and think as to how parenting has changed since when I was, you know, a tyke in the 50s versus kids today. Now, pardon me a minute. Somebody was in here messing around again. For some reason, the camera got moved. There. That's where it should be. You know, back when I was 5, 6, 7, you know, a young child, when I would be in a grocery store with my parents, first of all, you mind your manners. You never left your parents' side, not even for a split second. And God forbid you touched something. Oh, that was you keep your hands to yourself. That is merchandise for sale. And unless it's purchased and in her home, you don't touch it. And there was none of this, buy me this, buy me this, buy me this, buy me this. If you were good enough, your parents might reward you with something. Might. Money was tight back in those days. So, you know, to get a nickel box of Cracker Jack, oh my God, that was, you know, that was like somebody rewarding you with a Rolls Royce. Not today, friends. Not today. And 3 weeks ago, I just could not believe what was going on. I was appalled, and I was embarrassed because I didn't raise my son that way. But there was this young girl, and by young I'll say early to mid-20s, okay? With 3 boys. And I'm going to estimate their age between 8 and 5. Maybe 8 and 4. Maybe 9 and 4. But 3 in that grouping, okay? Well, first of all, she's shopping along. The kids are running wild. Now, they're in the same aisle, but they're sampling items. Open a thing of cookies, eat a couple, put the bag back on the shelf. Tear open a bag of popcorn, eat a little bit, bag on the shelf. Box of cereal, open it up, all three of them, dig it in, back on the shelf. This went on while she shopped through the store. Anything these kids wanted to sample, they did. And she never bothered to turn around to see what they were doing. Her cell phone was super glued to her ear. And I think the only way she knew the kids were back there was they were, making noise. I was in shock. I was in utter shock. Now, I'm not one for camera phones and all this. Too many people got phones stuck in your face nowadays. A police officer stops a kid on a bicycle and 47 people are out filming it. But I was so appalled by what I was watching. I turned my camera on and I stuck my phone in my pocket. And then, after they would sample an item and put it back on the shelf, I put it in the top basket area, that seating area for kids, I put it in the top basket area of my cart. Every item. Now, I was finished shopping, but I was so appalled by what I was watching, I followed her throughout the store and picked up everything that her little darlings had sampled. And then when we got up to the cash register, as she was unloading her cart, I walked around. I told the lady behind me, I'd have to talk to the manager. I'll be back before she's done. The lady was like, fine, that's okay. So I went over to the manager and I said, I've got something you're going to want to see. And I took out and I played the video. I says to him, here, get a load of this. And I played the video. And then I says to him, if you look in my cart, in the top section, where kids will be, the top section, will be all the items that her little darlings sampled. So he asked me, he says, can you send that video to my phone? I says, I'll try, because I'm not good at that shit. So one of the girls that I know that works at the store, she says, I'll do it. So I handed her my phone and she sent the video to the manager's phone. So the manager came around the other side, and he picked all of the items out of my cart and went back. Now, she was oblivious to what he was doing because she was, on the phone. So just as the cashier did a subtotal before tax, the manager said, wait a minute, we've got more items to ring. And she said, what do you mean we got more items to ring? I have all my... And he commenced to put a basket with all the items where the bags were open. And she said, those aren't mine. And they're open. And the manager said, yes, they are yours. And she says, no, they're not mine. And he said, yes, they are yours. And he commenced to show her the video. Now, like I say, she was oblivious to what was going on behind her. So when he showed the video, she thought that he was following her through the store. And she looked down at her three little darlings and said, did you guys do this? And of course, all three of them were like, no. And I was doing everything to stifle a laugh. Because I knew they were going to deny it. And I just stone-faced, waited until everything was over before I put my groceries on the belt. And it totaled up to be like $27. Now that would have been what they refer to in the business as shrinkage, also known as theft or damaged goods. They call it shrinkage because, yeah, the inventory is shrinking, but the dollar amount is also shrinking. And then everybody wonders why everything's so damn expensive in a store. It's not only inflation, it's this shit that goes on. And of course, she tells the three after she checks out, your father's going to take care of you when he gets home. Wait a minute. Why make Dad the heavy? Why make Dad the punisher? So that the kids think less of Dad. No. If you're going to punish them, you be the punisher, not Dad. You let them get away with this shit in the store, and you're going to make Dad the heavy? I mean, that was big when I was growing up. Wait till your father gets home. And I got it twice because, my mother was the punisher and then I got it from him when he got home. So that was another reason you were wearing the halo. Because us kids back in the 50s, we got it twice. And another thing, to tell you how times have changed. If you did something, say you're at your friend's house and you broke something or you were out of line. You got your ass smacked by the neighbor. And then they carted you down to your parents, and you got it again from your parents. And your parents thanked the neighbor. Not today. Oh, if you even set a finger on somebody's kid nowadays, you're tied up in court lawsuits until they pat you in the face with a shovel. We need to go back to my generation. And I know there's going to be everybody on here going, grumpy old man, you're wrong. No. Just by what transpired in that store. Because I can guarantee that this was not a first. This was just the first time they got caught. Because if they were that brazen, this goes on every time mommy goes shopping. And I can almost guarantee that if mommy catches them, whatever they've opened gets buried in the back of the rack so that nobody sees nothing. And, yeah, stores have cameras. But, you know, I would almost bet that this store does not have a loss prevention crew like Walmart does. Now, they have a security guard up front, but he's not watching any monitors. Now, I don't know for a fact. Maybe this store does. I seem to, I know most of the employees, and I don't think they're loss prevention people. And in Walmart, if you really pay attention, you can spot the loss prevention people. They are so obvious. I mean, how many people walk around Walmart with one item in their hand? No cart, no basket, one item. Watch sometime. You will see a person, figures I don't have. All right, here. You will see a person carrying around one box through the whole store. One box. Acting like he's looking, at an item on a shelf. But you will never see more than one item. I had mentioned once, because I caught the guy. Caught one of the guys. I said, you're loss prevention, aren't you? And he was like, I said, you're loss prevention, aren't you? And he went, yeah. I said, you people need to walk around with a cart full of merchandise. I said, anybody that is here on a regular basis gonna pick you out. But I don't go to Walmart anymore. I'm happy with, first of all, in order to, I gotta drive like halfway across town, and I'm not big on the driving. I enjoy driving. I like to go out in my old shitbox Nissan, slam a door and watch part of the truck fall off in the parking lot. And, both my vehicles are manuals. But the distance, nah. I did that back in the 90s. I worked for an insurance company as an adjuster back in the 90s. And I covered 10 counties. And I would average about 4,000 miles a week. And, I said, I'm done. And I got a job working for a limousine service. And I ended up doing about 6,000 miles a week. And everybody's like, oh, no. It would be nothing. I remember I had to pick someone up at Hopkins Airport. And I drove them to Lake Chautauqua, New York. And when I got back, I had to pick someone up at the airport and drive them to Columbus. All in the same day. So I kept a log. I would, as soon as I got in that car, I'd write the start mileage down, and when I got out of it, I write the finish mileage down, and I kept daily miles. And after a year and a half, I didn't want to see a steering wheel. And I got me a job standing in one place as the cashier at a hospital in the cafeteria. Miss the money. Oh, the tips. Oh, the tips. The tips were unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'll tell you a story sometime. I had, for 4 weeks, the sixth richest oil sheik from Saudi Arabia. I would pick him up at the Ritz-Carlton. I would take him to the Cleveland Clinic for therapy. Wait. Sometime it was like 3-4 hours. And take him back to the Ritz. Monday through Friday. For 4 weeks. It was hilarious. Because his son it was the sheik, his personal physician, his son, and his bodyguard. And his bodyguard had twin shoulder holstered Uzis under his suit jacket. Because I bumped into him one day. And, you know what a shoulder holster. Yeah. And I says to him, I says, "You got a gun?" And he opened his jacket with a big smile and he said, I got two. Yeah. Every Thursday, after we dropped Dad off, he would have me take him to the bank to get a suitcase full of money, a briefcase full of money. Like you see on TV, you know, they open a... Yeah! Every Thursday. And then on Friday, when I would drop them back off, the son would give me two crisp $100 bills and say, "Go buy yourself a woman." And I said, "I'll put it in the bank." No, have a good time. For you. Every Friday. And then, I'm going to ruin the story. We'll leave it at that, and I will continue this story another time. Because it's interesting, to say the least. Also, the sheik spoke very little English. Cute story about that, too. Well, I don't want to ruin it. I want to keep you on the edge of your seat now. And speaking of edge of the seat, I think I'm going to go see what I have for dinner. I think I already know what I'm going to have for dinner, but I'm going to scope out the fridge and see what's there. I know what's there. Some good stuff. But I have to decide whether it's going to be A or B. I'm leaning towards B, but it might be A. Although C is a good possibility. I'll let you know tomorrow whether it was A, B, or C. And with that, I'm going to bid you a good evening, friends. And I need to apologize. I made an adjustment. You know, I had it on spatial, and now I've got it for just one person forward. So if it's too loud, I apologize. I did take the gain down a bit, but if it's too loud, I'm sorry. Turn your volume down. I should have done a volume warning in the. I just remembered looking at the cannabis back here that I, farbulated the adjustment here. So I will chat with you tomorrow, friends.